Hi, and welcome back to Stephanie's Beauty Boutique. Today I wanted to talk to you about what I feel is one of the most important steps of your makeup routine, and that is finding a good foundation for your skin and for the type of skin that you have. My skin is sensitive, acne prone, I have acne scarring, I have dark circles under my eyes, I have large pores. It seems like I was dealt a really nice hand when it came to skin, but I have that type of skin, so I have to look for myself a coverage that is at least a medium to a full coverage. When I was younger, I always tended to buy drugstore type products. That's just what I looked for. I don't even know if I knew about Sephora, Ulta, any of the major department store brand makeups until I was more into beauty school and just a little bit older. So I gravitated more toward like CoverGirl type products, Maybelline, Revlon, those types of things. And now that I went on a 20-some year search for the perfect foundation, I feel like I've tried almost every brand that you can imagine, every kind of formula that you can imagine, from creams to powders to liquids, you name it, I have tried it. So today I'm going to show you a few drugstore brands and a few high-end brands that I find for me work really well, and maybe they would work for you also. So let's get started. The first one is Revlon Color Stay, and I have the normal to dry formula because my skin is pretty dry, mainly around the corners of my nose, my chin, and sometimes right here where my number 11 lines would be, or between the eyebrows. That seems to be my driest area. The Revlon Color Stay, you can find this at Walmart, Walgreens, Target, drugstore.com. It's pretty accessible. I know that in the States it runs around $9 or $10. I know that you can get BOGO sales with this. BOGO sales, half price sales at Walgreens, different kinds of ads and stuff that you can get this a little bit more reasonable. But I know that I picked this up at Walmart, and I've had this quite a while, so it does last a while. It is supposed to be a 24-hour wearable foundation. I don't wear my foundation for 24 hours. I've never tested out that theory. Those of you that need to, maybe because of a job or your work schedule, or maybe you just do not want to take off your makeup in the evening, let me know how this wears for you. But for me, it's a really great coverage, long lasting, long wearing. It gives me a semi matte finish, so it's not a total matte finish, but I do have a little bit of glow to my skin when I wear this. I do not have oily skin, so maybe that is why I just get a little bit of a glow. People with an oilier skin maybe have more of a glow to it. It's very wearable. I think the longest that I've worn this is probably 10 to 12 hours, and I put it on 8 o'clock in the morning and take it off 9 o'clock at night, and it still looks as nice as it did when I first put it on. I use a beauty blender, which is this nice little pink sponge that looks like it's all stainy and icky, but it's just from stains. I do wash these. I am very sanitary with my products. But I wet this down, squeeze out any excess water, and then I just pour this in, or actually I very carefully, because there is no pump on this product, which I do not like Revlon. They need to put a pump on their products. But I just kind of dab a little into the top of my hand. I take my very, not wet, but very damp beauty blender, and I tap into my hand and just tap this all over my skin and just kind of tap it all the way around. It blends it in flawlessly and perfectly. I think it's one of the best ways to apply this because it is a thicker foundation and it does take a little bit of blending to get it to look a little more natural. One of my favorite drugstores makeups. And I use the shade 150 buff. And it's a little light for me in the summer. And if it is a little light, I will use the sand beige and mix a little bit of the sand beige with that, and it works great. The next one I use is Revlon Color Stay Whipped. And basically this is the same foundation, just in a whip or a whipped or mousse-like foundation texture. This one comes in a glass jar, and if you look, you kind of just take off the top. It comes with this little plastic protection that goes over the makeup. Sorry, something's making my nose itch all of a sudden. Anyway, I like this makeup because it's not as messy as the original Color Stay is. I have been known to drop makeup bottles every now and then, and they will make a huge mess if you're not cautious and careful, and if especially, like I said, that one does not come with a pump, so it can get really messy if you drop it. This one does not come with any type of a pump, but this baby is extremely thick. Does not just, you can't pour it out like that. What I don't like about this is dipping your hand in. So what I do is use a little spatula, put it on the spatula, tap it onto the top of my hand, and once again, I will use a beauty blender or a buffing brush, and this is the Tarte buffing brush that I bought at Sephora, and I believe this buffing brush was about $34. So it's a little expensive, but this brush works wonders with both of these makeups, and I'm so itchy here, and most of the makeups that I use. So I really like that, and with the Tarte buffing brush, I just dip it into the makeup, the whipped Color Stay makeup, tap, and then tap it into my skin or buff it in. Gives you a really flawless finish. It's a beautiful coverage, a beautiful look, and this is supposed to be, once again, long wearing. Don't wear this 24 hours either. Never have tried that, but I have wore it 10 to 12, and it works wonderful. I have this in the sand beige. And this is also at Walmart, Target, drugstores, and I think it runs, let me look at my sheet here, about $11.97 at Walmart. So $11, $12, and it's highly worth it because it will last you for a long time. The next one is a higher end type foundation, and it's the Sephora Perfection Air Brush Foundation. I never get that name correct, but it is the Sephora Perfection Mist Airbrush Foundation. I have this in the shade Fawn and also in the shade Fair. Now, I bought the shade Fair first and found that it was just a little bit too light for my skin. I have for myself anyway, an odd skin color. I think I have that yellow, neutrally kind of a tone skin. I am an NC15, NC20, so I tend to gravitate more to the yellow-based warm tone foundations. So when they finally came out with a few new shades, I found the Fawn, and it was just a tiny bit too dark, so I mixed the Fawn and the Fair together and got what I consider my perfect shade. Now with the Sephora Air Flash or Airbrush Mist Foundation, they recommend that you spray this, you shake it up, like this, and that you spray it in a Z formation across your face, and supposedly that gives you the coverage that you need. I have tried this by doing their technique. I had a mess. I looked ridiculous. I had makeup in my hair. I had makeup on my counters. I had makeup in more places than I should have had makeup. So what I did is got out my trusty Tarte brush, and or you can also use the Real Techniques buffing brush, and I shook it up, and I sprayed about 2, maybe 3 light mist on this, and then I did circular motions and buffed it into my skin really well for about 2, maybe 3 minutes. Let it dry. Did the same procedure twice, did it twice, and when it was finished, I had such a beautiful semi-matte coverage, satiny coverage to my skin. It was gorgeous. It's one of my favorite foundations. It does not feel thick and heavy on your skin. It just feels nice, light, and airy, but it is a really nice coverage, so I recommend this one highly. If you can't, go and get a professional airbrush system, And to try this out for $28 at Sephora, it's totally worth it. I know Dior has their own product also that is the Dior spray makeup, and I believe it's supposed to be really really good also, but I think it's around $62. So if you just want to try something out that it's a little more reasonable than that, then I truly recommend the Sephora. Okay, so let's go on to another high-end. This is my Kat Von D, the Lock-It Tattoo Foundation. I don't have tattoos, so I know a lot of people are like, why are you buying a tattoo, makeup? I do have a lot of issues with my skin. I do have a lot of past acne scarring, and I do have, like I said, I have some freckles and dark circles, some imperfections that I just don't like seeing on a day-to-day basis. I went into Sephora and asked about a fuller coverage makeup about a year and a half or so ago, and I was recommended this. Love it. Tried it, and from the minute that they put it on my skin and let me test it out, I loved it. What I don't like about it is how thick and heavy it can be. So you have to be very light-handed when you're applying this. I also use the Beauty Blender. Lost train of thought there. The Beauty Blender with this particular foundation, and I basically just squirt a little onto the top of my hand. I use my hand as my palette quite a bit. Squirt a little bit onto that. I work it in a little bit to warm the foundation up, and then I just tap it, and tap into my skin. Gives me a beautiful, flawless looking face. What it also gives me is a masked looking face. So I always have to add bronzer, blush, the rest of my makeup to warm up my skin with this foundation. It covers well. It stays on tremendously for a very long time. So there's no issues with that. It can look cakey. It can look a little overdone if you're very heavy-handed with it. That's why the Beauty Blender or something in that vein works the best with this type of makeup. So this is $34 at Sephora, and I believe you can order online or in the store. You can get it there, and they have 19 shades. So the Kat Von D has quite a few shades to choose from. I have tried 3 of her shades. Right now I'm in the light 45, which is the most yellow base for my skin that I've found. I've tried the 46 and the 48 in the light. They're a little pink for my skin, and the light 45 works beautifully, fabulously. So it's one of my favorites. A couple more, and then I will tell you a couple more things, and then we'll be finished here. The next foundation, or not really foundation, but CC cream that I have is IT Cosmetics, and it's the Your Skin But Better CC Plus 50 Plus foundation or CC cream. This stuff is, in my opinion, amazing. When I do not want to put on a full heavy face, heavy tons of makeup, I guess you could say, or a heavy makeup day, when I just want to kind of throw something on really quick and go outside, this is what I reach for almost every day. It has the sun protection that, and then some that anyone would need. It has a really good coverage for a CC cream. I was amazed at how thick the CC cream really was, and it has some really nice anti-aging products or ingredients in here. So I really enjoy it. It's not heavy, it's not too thick, and it really does make your skin look like your skin, but better. They recommend with this one that you apply it to keep the sun protection, that is, that you apply it every 2 to 4 hours. I can't see doing that for myself. I put it on, I put a little bit of a powder over top of it, maybe a MAC powder, finishing powder, and then I go on my way, and it stays pretty much for about 6 to 8 hours with no touch-ups or any issues. This is at Ulta, and this is $38, and I have this in the color light, and it does come with a pump, which I kind of like. You can just kind of pump it out on your hand. Very, very nice, very portable, something that you could take with you when you travel. Works great, one of my favorites. And the last one is the MAC Face and Body. I have a love-hate relationship with the MAC Face and Body. I love it most of the time, but when I am in a hurry and just want to put something on quick, this isn't what you can use. And the reason I say that is this is something that you have to let it sit in between putting it on and putting another layer on. You have to give it a good 2 or 3 minutes to let it dry because it can feel tacky and sticky on the skin. This comes in a squeezy bottle, so you definitely, with this one, you want to shake it up also. So shake it up, and this is a water-based product, so you shake it up like that, and then you squirt a little onto the top of your hand. And the way I do it is I just take my little tips of my fingers, tap it in, and tap, 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 tap all around my face. And I do it in small sections because it dries so fast and it can become extremely thick and heavy if you do not do it in small sections, and it will look blotchy. What I like about this foundation is that it is buildable. You can get, it says you can get up to a full coverage. I myself have never been able to do that with it. I can get a medium coverage, a pretty good medium coverage with this. I like it that it is sweat resistant, water resistant. It stays on once you put it on. It does not come off until you take it off. And I've worn this 14, 15 hours. I went to family events or things for my kids that were outside, and this does not come off your face. And that I really like about it. It feels light once you get it on the skin. It feels light, not heavy. It's a really nice finish if you do it the right way. So I recommend, like I said, using it with your fingertips and just taking it in small sections and taking it slow. This one's $35 at MAC. You can only get this at the MAC stores. It's 4 ounces, so it will last you forever. I think they have a smaller version that's $30, but you only get like an ounce less. So this is a better bargain, at least for me. This is one of my favorites, so I do recommend that one. So if there's any other foundations that you would like me to do a tutorial on or to check out for you or do any reviews, let me know. I will be doing a few tutorials on these, showing you how I apply them and how the makeup looks after it actually sets all day. And so I ask that if you have anything that you would like me to check out, just leave the comments in the comment section below. Please subscribe to this video and like it. And I look forward to talking to you again. Thanks and have a great day.